Back at you with another one, and today's video we'll be looking at our record transfer signing, and that is of course Nicolas Pepe. So there are a lot of discussions by Arsenal fans and pundits, anyone who's interested in football, and they're all asking a question: what do Arsenal do with Nicolas Pepe? Has he been a flop? And I constantly get that question often, and that's because I, for so long, in particular last season, was adamant that Nicolas Pepe will come good. So I constantly receive messages like, "Oh, have you finally come to terms? Is he a flop now? Is he a flop? Have you finally admit that?" So I thought, you know what, rather than addressing individuals, let me produce a video and address it to the masses on my stance and my whole perception on Nicolas Pepe and his time at Arsenal. So in terms of Nicolas Pepe, as mentioned, he was the transfer record signing, and we paid Lille in the summer of 2019 £72 million to bring Nicolas Pepe over from France to join us here at North London. And since then, he has failed really to live up to that 80 mil, and that's because it was 80 million euros or 72 million pounds. So he has failed to live up to that price tag. And during the summer of 2019, he wasn't the only option that we were looking at. We were also really heavily interested in Wilfried Zaha, and that was Unai Emery's preferred option. Unai Emery has come out and said on several occasions that Zaha was his main target. However, the club opted to go for Nicolas Pepe. Now, why did the club go for Pepe instead of Wilfried Zaha? And that's mainly due to financial incentives. Wilfried Zaha had a 20% sell-on clause inserted into his contract by Manchester United. Therefore, any sales of Wilfried Zaha, United will get 20% of the sum. So therefore, if he was sold for 50 mil, United would receive 10 mil out of that fee. Hence why we've decided to go for Nicolas Pepe, because Crystal Palace wanted the whole 70 mil up front, as they knew they had to pay a portion out to United, whereas Lille were happy to take 15 mil up front and have a staggered payment. And now it sort of makes sense, doesn't it, when you kind of look at the financials? 15 mil up front, 70 mil. 15 mil up front, 70 mil. And the way Arsenal does business, you always know we go for the cheaper option. And as the saying goes, you buy cheap, you buy twice. So why did we go for Nicolas Pepe? Other than financial reasons, also it's due to his age. He, I believe, is 2 or 3 years younger than Wilfried Zaha. And not only that, he did have quite an impressive stats at Lille. And during his time at Lille, he was blowing up Liga, and he was the most prized after asset in Liga at the time. If you look at the sort of suitors that were interested in Nicolas Pepe, you're sort of discussing Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Liverpool, Napoli, PSG. So how did Arsenal manage to get him? And that's part of the whole buzz for me, really, that he came to us when he had all of these prospects that were really interested in him. So let's look at some of his stats for Lille at the time. By the way, the stats here on screen, they are only showing his Ligue 1 stats. So these aren't the French domestic cups, neither is it the European competitions. So this is solely the French league only. So in the season of 17-18, he managed to play 31 games, and he got 13 goals as well as 4 assists, and that's 17 goal contributions in 31 games. So that's every other game. The following season, now this is really impressive, he managed to play 37 times, bagged 22 goals and 11 assists. That's 33 goal contributions in the 37 game he played. That's mad when you think about it. Now it makes sense why why all these big clubs around Europe were heavily interested in Nicolas Pepe. So why did it go downhill from Nicolas Pepe? Part of that, and I really believe, is his transfer fee. And he didn't choose that transfer fee. I don't think Pepe sat there and said, I am worth £72 million. You have to take that up with Raul Sinelli. You have to take that up with the Arsenal negotiators. You have to take that up with Lille for them valuing Pepe at £72 million. Besides that, I've also heard that his price was inflated due to other dodgy dealings going on. Hence why a certain someone is no longer at Arsenal Football Club. And now it's not just only the price tag. Yes, the price tag is massive, and it's usually mentioned quite often. You always hear it. Oh, he's a flop for £72 million. It's never he's a flop. It's he's a flop for £72 million. His price is constantly mentioned, and I feel as if, you know, undue to his own sort of situation, he's constantly reminded that he costs £72 million. So you can surely imagine the pressure that's going to put on you. And also, he's had to move to a new league and come over to England. We also had that whole COVID situation, which broke up parts of last season. So I did really think that Nicolas Pepe was going to go on and smash it this season. Unfortunately, I was wrong about that. Apologies for what's happened on the screen. Also, his confidence has gone. And the way Nicolas Pepe usually plays football, he likes to make runs sort of behind the last man. And we don't really play that way. There's been too many times where we will pass the ball to Pepe at feet when he's got about 2-3 guys around him. And I saw that quite often against the game at Newcastle as just being one of many examples. And I've seen that quite often since his time at Arsenal. Let me just sort of bring this up, which I saw and I thought, yep, that's also part to play as to why Pepe hasn't really thrived at Arsenal. So this is Granit Xhaka on the ball, as you can see, or maybe you can't see or tell that it's Xhaka. But the caption here is, any other half-decent midfielder in this position is playing a long ball straight into the path of Pepe or Aubameyang, but not Granit, the Falbanian. Not my words, by the way. It's whoever's written this thread. He receives it, turns, takes 4 or 5 touches, and sideways to Ballerina. Now that's my word. It goes. And this is how often we sort of play. At Lille, you sort of saw a counter-attacking football, and it worked to his strength. We're not really utilising him that way. Another thing is that he's not played more than 4 games in a row here at Arsenal. So he's not had a run of consistency. We often sort of see players like, you know, Xhaka, Ballerina, Mustafi, etc. And these players, who I would confidently say are worse players than Nicolas Pepe in terms of their footballing ability. Yet, they've all had more than 5 games in a row. Pepe hasn't had the consistency, so you can only imagine, or only think to yourself, what could he have really done had he been given that confidence, had he been given that, you know, run of games? And part of that, we did sort of see that towards the end of last season. If you sort of recall during the run to the FA Cup and how pivotal he played. And for me, if you take Aubameyang's goal out of the final, I thought Pepe was our best player in terms of just performance. Yes, Aubameyang bagged the goals, but remember, one of the goals, it was from Pepe's assist as well to find Aubameyang, where he beat Zuma and then dinks it over Azpilicueta, and that's us with the trophy. So I thought, let me just sort of bring up some of his stats from last season. And so this is a season of 2019-2020. He made 31 appearances just in the Premier League, by the way, and he got 5 goals. 5 goals, 13 wins, 9 losses, and with the 5 goals he managed to bag 6 assists. So he was having that decent run, and all of a sudden, this season starts, and then Arteta's like, nah, don't fancy you, I fancy him. And Williams coming to the fold. Can you imagine? You are costing the club £72 million. You are the record transfer signing, and yet you are being replaced by a 32-year-old guy from down the road. I mean, how would that make you feel? Especially when you are on a high and you are thinking to yourself, you know what? That's it. I finally have found my form here at Arsenal, and I'm gonna, next season go on, kick on. And that's why I generally made that assumption that Pepe will go on and have a great season this season, because what happened towards the end of last season. But then again, we're gonna sort of mention Arteta's mismanagement. Why would you do that? As I mentioned against my preview video for the Newcastle game, I said that I would play Murray instead of bringing back Gabriel into the fold. Why? Because Murray didn't put a foot wrong. So why should Gabriel just come back in and, start? It's just like the whole Leno and Martinez situation. That pissed me off. It was Martinez earned his spot to be number 1. Then he got dropped. Then start of the season, Pepe didn't do anything wrong for me. And then Willian starts. And I thought, hold up, that's not right. And that's where, for me, my sort of confidence in Arteta slightly went downhill from then on. So, and if we do look at Willian, and if we sort of look at his stats and try to make sense as to why is our record transfer signing behind this old OAP. Let's look at his stats here. He's played 12 appearances, a total of 909 minutes. And what has he managed? 3 assists. And that's all from the opening game of the season at Fulham. Yeah, Pepe is really, really behind this guy here. Now let's look at Pepe. Yeah. If we sort of look at his stats, he's played about half the games or half the minutes Willian has played, and he's managed to have 2 goals. Yes, one of them being a penalty, but you take what's given, really. And he's not been really bad in the Europa League, and actually got picked as the was he put into the team of the year for the Europa League team of the year, sorry. And you can sort of see that even though, yes, his stats aren't that great, he's better than Willian. Come on, man. He's better than Willian, man. You can't be telling me Pepe is behind Willian. Now, what's my take on the whole situation after presenting all these stats? For me, do I think he's good enough? No. Do I think he's one of the first players I want out of Arsenal? No, because I could give you a list of 10 players who are worse than Pepe is. Let's just look at his position solely, yeah? He's not even the worst in that position. Let's be honest. And this is going to really, really annoy many people out there that I'm going to, sort of say, yes, Pepe's better than Nelson. I know you don't want to hear it, but Pepe is better than Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson's not that good. He's just a headless chicken. He just, gets the ball, runs, no end product. Yes, Pepe doesn't have end product at times, but the thing with Pepe is he can just get you that goal out of nothing, and we'll see in those magic moments. Yes, he hasn't lived up to the hype. Would I personally sell him? Yeah, I would. But I do feel sorry for Pepe in many ways. You can tell he's not really happy at the club as well. You can sort of see his relationship with Arteta is not being the greatest when he sort of comes off the pitch or whenever he's been subbed off. And you see it. He's just very cold towards Arteta. Arteta at times, is trying to give him the handshake. Pepe's just like, don't care. It's... And do you blame him? He's being victimized. He, for no reason, was on a great form and then gets shut down. He had that, sense, he made a massive mistake against Leeds United where he headbutted Alioski, got sent off, and that was stupid by him. But then again, it was his treatment which pissed me off. Yes, it was stupid by Pepe, but Arteta, why were you very lenient towards Granit Xhaka afterwards? And some of you might say, oh, that's because Arteta, has learnt from his lesson by not treating players harshly. Okay, then why wasn't he harsh towards David Luiz the season before when he got that red card at Man City? Furthermore, he was rewarded with a new contract. That's all I'm saying. So if you're Nicolas Pepe and you're sort of seeing this, you're obviously going to be pissed off. You obviously want the manager out. And I think Arteta, yes, it's due to, he's part of the problem. And we all often hear Arteta is a great manager. Then how has he failed Pepe? How have you not realised this guy is a counter-attacking winger and he needs the sort of rooms, why don't you sort of double up on the right hand side and get, you know, the right back to help him out, and then, you know, you might see the best of Pepe then. But it's just, we've got a clueless manager who doesn't know what he's doing. Pepe's not really helping himself out as well by feeling sorry for himself and being constantly angry at the manager. You even saw that little group where Pepe, Matteo Gondosi and Saliba were sort of slagging off the manager on Instagram posts. You can clearly see things aren't healthy here at Arsenal for him. And when you're sort of seeing you're being mistreated, and then Willian can go to Dubai and he can come back in and still start ahead of you, you can obviously think, you know what, fuck this, I don't care, fuck this manager, he's a cunt, you know. And I would feel exactly the same if I was Nicolas Pepe, as if like, how are you gonna drop me for this guy? What has he done for you to think he's better than me? Yes, I might not be that great, but why is he given all this game time? As I mentioned to you, if we sort of looked at Willian's game time compared to Pepe, 909 minutes in the league. Now let's look at Pepe, 480. He's got 2 goals, and Willian still hasn't managed to register a shot on target in that 9 whatever it was. And you can understand why Pepe just feels like, I just can't be asked. And I feel a lot, you know, if we had a better manager who might give more faith in Pepe, would we see a better Pepe? Probably. If Pepe was to leave Arsenal and go to a club like Lyon or PSG, would he have a great career? Probably. I have a feeling that maybe it's just not the perfect marriage here at Arsenal, especially whilst you have Arteta in charge, because he's just everything anti-football. And it doesn't help as well when Pepe is, you can tell he's a freestyler, he's a street baller, and then you have someone like Arteta who's very meticulous with very detailed plans and stuff like that. It's just overload, and that doesn't help him either. You see Aubameyang's regressing under Arteta, and you're obviously going to see Pepe regress as well, and that's just going to be a continuous theme so long as Arteta is here, or Arteta doesn't change his ways and tries to be a bit more attacking and let the handbrakes off with some of these flair players. But my overall assessment and what would I do on Pepe, I have come to terms, and I'm not going to say he's a flop, but he's a flop for the price we paid. But as a footballer, the stats don't lie. He got 18 goals contribution at Arsenal last season, which is not really bad for your debut season considering everyone calls you a flop. Yet you've got 18 goal contribution. Now if that's a flop, then wow, that says everything. But is he good enough for Arsenal? No. From what I've seen so far, no, he's not. Has he been treated fairly? No, he hasn't. Has he been given the right opportunity? No. And that's what's going to hurt me the most. We forked out so much money, but we will never know what could have been. Now, what would I personally do? Other than obviously get rid of Arteta, what I would do then with the sort of Pepe situation, or what I would do right now as we sort of speak, is I will look for alternatives. There's no point trying to sell him because we're not going to get anywhere near that fee. We'll be lucky to get even 30 mil. So what I would propose is there's 2 wingers that I have in mind, yeah? And just hear me out. There's probably other wingers and you're probably thinking, idiot, so-and-so is better than the 2 options that you've provided here. Maybe I've just forgot, and I apologise if I have, and if there are better players. And if there are better players or better wingers you'd rather see than Pepe, please put it in the comment section below and I'll read them out during our next video. But the 2 players I would go with is this man here, Pedro Neto of Wolverhampton Wanderers. The young Portuguese who's only 20 years of age. I think he will be an amazing upgrade on Nicolas Pepe. And the next player I have in mind is a guy we faced not that long ago on Thursday, and that's Eberechi Eze. And I thought, yes, you're probably thinking, him over Zaha? Yeah, he's only 22 and he's only going to get better. And I thought he played just as well or even better than Wilfried Zaha when we played him on Thursday night. So those are the 2 players I would go for, and I would actually even offer them Pepe and some cash as well. You know, instead of getting rid of the whole £72 million, maybe just sort of say to, you know, Crystal Palace, hey, do you fancy Pepe and 15 mil on top? Or go up to Wolves, hey, for Neto, do you fancy Nicolas Pepe and 15 mil on top? That will be my solution anyway of what I would do with the whole Nicolas Pepe situation. As I said, I do feel for the guy, but it's just not really worked here at Arsenal. And I just think for both parties, it's best that we just sort of leave parts and then get that divorce. And all the best, Pepe, because I know wherever club he goes to, he'll smash it unless we've, you know, scarred him for life and his confidence is totally ruined for life. And if that's the case, go sue Arteta. But other news. There's been breaking news about a certain number 10 that we have here at Arsenal. And that's exclusive. Arsenal and Mesut Ozil have an agreement in principle to terminate contract with immediate effect to end his 7.5-year Arsenal career. If all goes to plan, Fenerbahce expect 32-year-old to travel this weekend and complete the move to Fener as free agent. Wow, so things are developing very quick on that front. And since then, AFC Bell has broken this out with further details on the whole Ozil move to Fenerbahce. He goes, information, Fenerbahce schedules an appointment for Mesut Ozil's medical examinations at the Lev Ulas clinic in Istanbul. The player will fly tomorrow evening, which is Sunday, to Turkey, and he is expected to complete the routine procedures in the next 48 hours. The atmosphere is like Eid days in the halls of Fenerbahce, according to one of the sources. You have to excuse AFC Bell sometimes with the translation because he writes in Arabic, of course, and when you do translate it, it's not going to be word for word. But I sort of understand that. As I said previously, Ozil is idolized heavily over there in Turkey, so I can see this being massive over there, and it's a massive coup for him and for them. I think, you know, isn't he married to Miss Turkey? He's got a young family as well. Just best for everyone, and I think all the best to Mesut Ozil. As I've said, I've got nothing against him, but likewise, I'm not going to be sat here parading saying, oh my god, he's a legend, we're losing a legend. The amount of compilation videos I've seen all across social media saying, we're going to miss this legend, calling Ozil legend. No. He's not a legend. He's been a decent server for us, and that's all it is. Am I going to miss him? Or what am I going to miss most about Ozil? I'm going to miss his song. You know that song? We go Ozil. I'm not going to continue on anymore. But that's what I'm going to miss most about Mesut Ozil. And that's another good question. What are you going to miss most about Mesut Ozil? Put in the comment section below. But I think that's where I'm going to wrap this video up. And so guys, as always, appreciate for you taking out your time to listen to me. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe. Until next time, all the best, my fellow Gooners. Bye.